free throws early in the quarter. And then you can bring Josh Hart off the bench, who had, 8 points, 10 rebounds in his 30-plus minutes. So where we were trying to, get on Coach Tom Thibodeau for benching Karl Anthony Towns in the fourth quarter, let's give him credit for making the right adjustment, getting Mitchell Robinson out there early in the game when they're not in the bonus offensively, and then bringing in, the bench and going a little bit deeper into his bench, not just for offense, substituting guys out who supposedly are good offensive players and bringing in better defensive players. And the Knicks defense tonight only allowing Indiana to make 5 3-pointers, sensational.
Yeah, everything Coach said, and I'll just add, Russ, the reason this comeback happened, as Coach just alluded to, this is the best defense the Knicks have played by far in this series, some of the best defense they played in this postseason. That lackluster three-point shooting that Coach referred to from the Pacers, they could not buy a bucket from deep. Got to give Karl Anthony Towns all the flowers, not some flowers, all the bouquets, all the roses, 24th quarter points. And then I just think it turns out that strategically speaking, I'm going to go deep on the analytics here, guys. Apparently you have to be down 15 to 20 points in this series in order to be able to win the game. That apparently also is a part of the factor here, because nothing makes sense anymore when it comes to leads, especially with and against these two teams.
Well, look, and the flip side of that, and we could have asked the same questions, and I'm sure we were doing it for the Knicks after games 1 and 2. But Avery, look, Jalen Brunson was in foul trouble, sitting on the bench. Couldn't really shoot for most of this game. Really struggled from the floor. How did Indy find a way to lose this game?
Well, again, Indy's game offensively is predicated on spreading the floor and knocking down three-point shots. If they can't knock down the three, then the Knicks defense can shrink even more and shut off those driving lanes. And that's what the Knicks did. And because, Indiana's offense is predicated on, especially if Miles Turner's at the 5, spreading the floor, spreading the Knicks out. Obi Toppin played well. He was a plus 19 in 14 minutes. I'm glad for the Knicks that he didn't play more than 14 points because he did a nice job. But again, when the Indiana Pacers can't knock down a three-point shot, similar to the Boston Celtics, that's the kryptonite to the Knicks. That helps the Knicks, actually, and that's the kryptonite to the Indiana Pacers offense when they can't spread the floor.
And guys, I think another interesting through line to everything that Coach and I have been talking about is the fact that, I know it's not technically a closeout game, but it's hard to close out series. It is hard to win those final games. Obviously, this wasn't that, but if the Pacers had won this game, this series is done and dusted. Even though it's only would have been 3-0, it's over. You know it's over. I know it's over. The Pacers knew it was over. And I thought, for all the reasons Coach was talking about, they started to get tight there. Their offense really stagnated in that fourth quarter. You could feel not just the momentum and the excellence in the defense and the shot making of the Knicks, and they get credit for all those things. But I think the weight of the fact that the Pacers were basically on the brink of being up 3-0 against the New York Knicks, they had all but guaranteed themselves a berth in the NBA Finals. I think some of that came to bear on this game, too.
Hey, Bill, one more thing about Karl Anthony Towns. Is he awake now? Is he in this series? Is this giving the Knicks sort of the juice now to think hey, it's 2-1, everybody's winning on, the opposing team's court? Game 4, is that Cat's game to shine, even coming off a fourth quarter that he just had?
I mean, absolutely. And by the way, I don't want to get too carried away, and Coach has played in these things and won these things. So, I'm just doing this from a distance. But I was thinking about how well Cat played and how remarkable that performance is with your season on the line in the fourth quarter. And it just struck me in large part because of his offensive excellence, because of the defensive effort of this Knicks team. It sort of feels like, guys, whoever wins game 4, the next game is going to win this series. Doesn't mean they will, but it sort of feels that way. If the Pacers can kind of shrug this off and go up 3-1, they're in the driver's seat. But if you're the Knicks and you were down 20 points facing a 3-0 series deficit and you go back to New York at 2-2, it's such a momentum shift. So there's a lot of factors, Russ. Certainly if Cat can play at a ridiculously high level like he did in that fourth quarter, it helps. I think this is going to be one of those it's time to prove it moments for the Knicks. Maybe it turns the series around. For the Pacers, let's see what they're made of, because it's one thing to lose this game. It's another thing to lose this game and then not defend home court in game 4.
When you look at the Knicks, they shot 90% from the free throw line. And the reason they shot 90% from the free throw line, I'm going to reiterate something. Mitchell Robinson didn't attempt a free throw tonight. And when you get him in early in the first and the third quarter, and then once you get in the bonus, sub him out. Because when he misses free throws, if he splits a free throw, go 1 for 1, or goes 0 for 2 from the line, we know he's been like the worst free throw shooter in the NBA playoffs. That's like a turnover. So again, for all of the, credit that we give Tom Thibodeau, we know we blame the last game on him. Solid adjustment. And then their wing players play much better defense, doing a great job against Indiana in terms of limiting their production from the three-point line. So we'll see if the Knicks can build on this. And if Karl-Anthony Towns can play, the first, second, and third quarter the way he did in the fourth quarter.
All right, one last thing, Coach. I'm starting with you. It's a 2-1 series. The betting odds are shifting now with the Knicks just plus 166, Indiana minus 198. Things are getting tight in Vegas. Who has the momentum going in to Game 4, Avery?
Well, Russ, that's a great question. I picked the Knicks to win this series. I'm going to stick with it. Ooh. And Bill knows I'm not going to bail out on, who my pick is. I'm sticking with the Knicks. I believe they're going to come back and win Game 4. And we're going to go back to New York 2-2 because I think the Knicks found something with their starting lineup. I think they found something with pace of play. And again, Karl-Anthony Towns is going to play even better. He's going to put together 2 or 3 good quarters, not just one. And I think the Knicks found something with their rotation to really try to slow down the depth of the Indiana Pacers.
I am similarly stubborn, but I'm just stubborn on the other side of the equation because I wrote back in February over at CBSSports.com that people weren't paying enough attention to the Pacers, and I've been sort of pushing this on the podcast on Beyond the Arc that I thought the Pacers could make a deep run. Did I predict them to go to the finals? No, but I thought that they could get here, and I thought they could play the Knicks tough. And once we got here, I did think they'd win this series. So I'll go Pacers because I don't think Karl-Anthony Towns is going to score 20 points in the fourth quarter, and I do think the Pacers are going to find their offensive groove and shoot better from 3. Coach said it. They've got to hit those deep shots, and almost every guy on the floor is conditioned to and able to make those shots. But it feels like a coin flip. I mean, this is a series, guys, where the margin has been, I don't even know, is it 3 games at 9 or 10 points in terms of the margin? I mean, it's remarkable how every game has been so close, and I know this has been fronted by a lot of comebacks. I think it's a coin flip, but if you have to guess, I'll guess Pacers.
All right, look, folks, I don't know what's going to happen in Game 4, but we have ourselves a series, and if for some reason they go back to MSG, tied 2 games apiece, you better lock that roof down tight in Manhattan on Madison Square Garden. Bill Ryder, Avery Johnson, gentlemen, thank you so
Rồi, những